Let's turn our focus to another area now, including Dunoon and Khayelitsha, as well as Mitchells Plain. Those particular communities are also plagued by rampant gang and gun violence. Issues of extortion and gun violence are on the increase in those areas. It's also where a DA ward by-election candidate was gunned down, you'd recall, during the last voter registration weekend. Let's go to SABC News reporter Mariska Botha now. Mariska, in the area that you are broadcasting from, residents will tell you about a myriad of challenges that they are facing. Gun violence, the issue relating to the abuse of drugs. And what is the sense that you're getting this voter registration weekend from residents in those areas about the importance of this weekend, whether they want to participate in the upcoming elections? What's this general sense of people living there?
Griselda, you mentioned it all there. The big issue in those areas that you mentioned, Dunoon, Khayelitsha, Mitchells Plain, the violence here is the bane of the existence of the majority of people who live in these areas. And just by the way, Khayelitsha, where we are right now, in Site E at a beautiful school that is a registration point for people, and Mitchells Plain are two of the biggest voting blocks in the Cape Town metro. So these are two very important areas for the elections, and it will certainly be hotly contested. And if you speak to people on the ground, yesterday I was speaking to a random person on the street, and when they start to open up and tell you what goes on in their street, your mouth will literally hang open. How they speak about petrol bombs being thrown at homes, how they speak about random shootings happening on the daily, and that was in Beacon Valley yesterday, where we spoke to people who told us that. And the issue for us in getting that on air is that people are afraid to speak. They are simply so fearful to put a face to the voice that tells us these stories, because they might be next. So in many areas, people are literally being held hostage by the crime situation. Entire communities are held hostage by gang violence, by extortion rackets. It's sometimes as simple as people being demanded extortion money to walk them safely to a taxi rank. That's how small it goes. And then, of course, we're not even speaking about matters that are before court right now that involves alleged billions of rands. So it is a critical issue for people in these communities. The crime is the number one issue that they all speak about. In terms of voter registration, it has been slow. Over 1,600 voting stations are open across the province. Certainly at every voting station where we were, all of them were open. We just saw Metro Police that did their rounds that came here. The SABC is around, so they're making sure that it's safe for people to come to these areas. But it's been quiet. But we hear last time, the previous voter registration weekend, on the Sunday in the afternoon, it picked up. And we heard from the other point in Khayelitsha, where we were yesterday at OR Tambo Hall, that in the afternoon, a lot of young people came through to register for the first time between the ages of 18 and 23. And I must commend my colleague who was speaking there in Alexandria, saying the people that she spoke to, speaking about ground level issues. It's literally about what's happening in your street. Does the street light works? Is your rubbish being collected? Is the sewage running in the streets? These are issues for people here too. But the major challenge that they face is crime, and especially gangsterism and young men being targets of these gangs, to be lured in because of poverty, because there is no social programs for them. You get people that try their best and certainly try to have programs after school and run sport clinics and the like, but it's not enough. It has to be a multi-pronged approach, as we've heard time and time again from the Cape Crime Crisis Coalition that was established. It's a collection of various organizations, peoples and groupings who want to be the voice for the voiceless with government, with the SABC, because it's especially young men as young as 9, 10 and 11 years old that are vulnerable to this. So there must be a multi-pronged approach to that, and that is certainly top of mind for people when they're considering who they will vote for in the coming elections. And I must just mention and commend the learners from this high school. We saw them. They walked in, they're having weekend classes for science, maths and the likes. So many people are trying to uplift themselves the best they can. And most of the people want to live in peace and propel themselves forward, get that better life that they were always striving for. But it becomes increasingly difficult when you are held captive by crime to such an extent that it's dangerous to leave your home when the sun starts to set. So that is certainly one of the top issues in this province and in this city.